welcome to Room Escape Divas, your podcast on everything escape rooms. This week, we are going to be talking to Tammy, Dorn, and Andrew O of Haiku Games to discuss escape rooms on mobile devices.
Woo! My name is Errol.
I'm Amanda.
And we are excited because, well, there's more to the story than just we want to talk about games on mobile devices. I don't even know. I think a long time ago, I remember Andrew. I don't know how long. Yeah, long time ago when I was a kid.
You're like old man escape roomer already.
What? I didn't even finish my sentence yet. I was just saying a long time ago. I think I saw somewhere. And it might have been Andrew himself, or maybe it wasn't. Maybe. Do you have anyone else that works with you over at Haiku? I'm not too sure. But somebody posted. Oh, okay.
A number of people, but it was probably me.
Yeah, posted that they were looking for a game designer to help out with escape room type games. And so then I posted that. So I don't even know where you posted that, Andrew. Was that in the Slack, or was that on Facebook, or was it just blasted out everywhere?
I think I blasted it out everywhere, so I think it was on the Slack for sure, and I think I got it on the Facebook at some point too.
Probably, and because I am everywhere when it comes to things like escape rooms, that I saw it in multiple places, and so I think I mentioned it as well, and a few people applied, and one of them is our friend Tammy Dorn. Hello,
Yay!
Tammy Dorn.
Whoa, thank you again. That's like one of my favorite. Like interconnected escape room stories, because you posted it. Okay, so you posted it on the enthusiast page on Facebook.
Okay.
And with the post, there was a caveat that said, "I don't know if I'm supposed to post this, but since I am a moderator, I'm going to post it anyway and say it's fine." And so I saw that, and I was like, "I'm glad you posted it." And then I that was about a year ago, right now, I think, and I. Saw it and applied, and I was like surprised there wasn't more chatter about it on the page. I mean, what kind of enthusiast wouldn't want to work in escape rooms in some fashion? And I don't know, it was just really exciting.
Although there might have been chatter in the Slack, people telling me, "Thanks, Errol, you just told everybody about it." I was hoping nobody would find out, but no, you just went and blabbed to everybody about this job posting. But it was great. So yay! I was positive for somebody for once.
Yeah,
That's
really.
amazing.
Yeah, I am so happy that you did that, and then I saw it, and that it worked out, and I met Andrew, and now I work at Haiku, and I love it.
It was good for everyone for sure.
So why don't you tell us a bit more about Haiku Games, Andrew? Because I know I've just gave all this origin story stuff, but maybe people might want to know more about Haiku.
Yeah, absolutely. So Haiku Games is a indie game development company, and it started all the way back in 2013. And I started it on my own to make independent games. And at the time, I was getting into escape rooms. So it wasn't the absolute first game that Haiku Games made, but after doing a couple of the really early escape rooms in San Francisco, I was interested to make some on the App Store. And eventually we came up with this idea called Adventure Escape, which is what we're still working on now. Tammy is working on new Adventure Escape games as we speak. And we've kind of built up a loyal following of players that like to play our games. They're a mix of escape room games and adventure games. So you'll get a little bit of story about why you're solving these locks. And we have got some great art. And you could check it out on iOS or Google, or even on Amazon and Steam now as well.
Nice.
Cool. So with the escape room, so you I couldn't remember. I was looking at your site earlier, but are you exclusively escape games, or do you do other types of games as well?
Yeah, we have a couple of other types of games as well, but most of our games are escape rooms. We have another series called the Solve It series, which is more of like a visual novel, text-based series. And that's the other main one we have out right now.
So one of the things I was curious about, we were talking earlier before we started hitting the record button, and you were mentioning like taking trips to do escape rooms and that. Were you a fan of escape rooms before you started designing escape rooms for mobile, or was that something you started first and then wanting to know what the in-person version was like?
Yeah, I was definitely a fan first. Like I had done just a couple of escape rooms, I think around 2014 in San Francisco. There was the company, the name dropped out of my head, but
Was it Scrap?
Scrap, exactly, Scrap. Yeah, I'd done
I'm
a couple of
here
those
for
Scrap
you.
games. Great. You're the collective memory of all escape rooms in the world.
I'm
So
impressed.
this is really helpful.
He's old
Yeah.
man escape roomer. That's why.
Yeah. Yeah. So, we went to one of these scrap rooms and, really enjoyed it, and it was just fun to go with friends. And I think at the time, I think I had discovered some of the apps on the mobile phone at that time as well. And had played a couple of those also. But yeah, it was a bit of a slow burn, actually. Did a couple of escape rooms in real life. And then, as until this year, of course. But, then every year kind of did 10 times more. It felt like, did 1 or 2 or 3, and then did 10, and then did 20, and then, ended up, probably going to around 100 now at this point.
Yeah, you were saying before the podcast started, that you did a trip up here to Toronto, and it sounds like you did a marathon of games, and that's you know that you hit the I'm obsessed stage when you just do marathons of escape rooms.
Yeah. I have a couple of friends that really like to do it. I have one friend in the LA area who we've done a bunch of escape rooms together, and another friend I mentioned owns one of these escape rooms. So yeah, we've done two escape room trips. So that's been quite a bit of fun. And yeah, I think it does show a mixed level of obsession, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
What about you, Tammy Dorn? I just like saying your whole name. I don't know why, but I'm gonna.
Yeah, it's a good one. Tammy Dorn. That's funny. Yeah. Obviously I found the job posting on an escape room enthusiast page. It's interesting because most of the people I work with at Haiku have come from the, game design side of things. And I came really from the escape room side of things. I've been doing escape rooms with my husband for probably, 4 or 5 years. And we kind of were getting to the obsessive point when we had our first child 3 years ago.
Ooh.
Almost to the day 3 years ago.
Oh,
and
no,
so
you have a small child, and
I
you
have
can.
2 small children now.
No.
Whoa,
And you can still have fun? That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, we have lots of fun. So I kind of the break. So I haven't gotten to the 100 mark or the plus, but I probably would have if we didn't have the little guy and now a little girl. I know,
Kids,
but.
Yeah.
They're going to make great teammates someday. And actually my son, has probably done over a dozen rooms with us, being worn, or now that he's older, he can sit and kind of look at stuff. And sometimes he's actually helpful because he can find a lock that's on a box down low. He's playing with it. And we're like, what is that, Gabriel? What are you doing? And he's and we're like, oh, look at this. I didn't even see it. So that's happened.
That should be the tagline for kids. Kids actually helpful.
Yeah. You never know. So yeah, so that kind of, stinted our escape room experiences. I don't know if I could convince, I would totally play escape rooms. I'd go on vacation, I would play 10 in a day. No problem.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. One after the other. But I think my husband would tire of it a little sooner. I think 2 or 3 might be his max. But
Ooh,
we'll see.
wow. That's more than my wife's max, just to let you know. Yeah, that's 2 or 3 a month for her. So I don't.
Yeah, he's into them too. So we're both super into escape rooms, and we have designed them at home for friends and family. We like to do 30th birthday. We like to do birthdays together because our birthdays are close. And for our 30th, we designed a half-hour escape room. And then we forced about 30 of our friends to take turns playing it. And so that was really fun. And it kind of got us interested in designing and puzzles. And so from there, I wasn't working. I was staying at home as just hanging out with my son. And so I was designing puzzles in my free time and coming up with fun activities based around those and networking with different escape rooms in the area. At the time I met Justin Nevins, who does the crypt text. And yeah, it was so funny because we would sit down at the table and we'd play an escape game, and then I'd just take out a piece of paper and start doodling puzzles, like just designing them on, and I'd be like, let's all sit down and design puzzles and pass them around. And this is with my family who likes to do them, but they're all like, why would we do that? And I was like, it was shocking to me to learn that everyone who likes to solve puzzles wouldn't also like to make puzzles. And so
it's not shocking to me anymore.
Yeah, now it's like, I guess it's not, but I was like, why wouldn't you don't you have a million ideas? And they're like, no, you like puzzles.
Oh.
Yeah. So when it came to, you mentioned, Tammy, working with both, working with people who came from a game design background as opposed to like a physical escape room background. So when it came to collaborating and working out the design process, what kind of things did you learn along the way, or what kind of things did they learn along the way when it came to the actual design of these games?
Yeah, I mean, the whole design process is game design based, I think. So
Yeah.
I had a lot of learning to do, which I've had some really, really great teachers. Like Andrew's great and he knows what he's doing. And when I work with Michelle, has kind of been sort of like mentor, like teacher for like all of the facets of what building a mobile game entails. And it's pretty fun because so when you're building a game in real life, there's a lot of similarities because you have to map out the path, but our games are a lot, they take multiple, a long time to complete an entire game, as opposed to like an hour where you're really time based. And so your puzzles stretch and you have ideas and you can figure out how to manipulate them to make them work. But as far as like melding of the two, it was mostly like learning how to maintain my escape room creativity and put that like translate it into the design documents and the functionality of a mobile app with like the moving pieces. And when you tap, I remember in my interview it was one of the questions was, well, what would you do if you tap here? What if you move this piece here? And I just hadn't even thought of those things because they're not questions you talk about in real life, but that's a lot of you just have to consider everything that a player is going to do. Like when you tap this spot, this has to move. And there's like all these tiny little details that the programmers need to know. And so it's been kind of fun to kind of learn that language and work through it. And then one of the people I worked directly with came, I think, straight from a game design background. I think he did a program in it in school. And so he's got like a lot, like his narrative ideas are really broad and big, and he's like really into this big story aspect. And I'm kind of more, in an hour-long escape room and things like we were doing, it's like, this is a story and you hit the points really fast. But in a game, you have a lot more breadth and a lot more time to develop it and tell people the story you want to tell them. So that's been interesting too.
Just to clarify, I didn't clarify this earlier. When we mention game design, we mean digital game design, because there are many types of game design. So this is specifically in the video / digital game genre. Yeah. That's really cool. That's one limitation of in-person escape rooms that makes it a bit more difficult or challenging to design for things like narrative and that kind of thing is the time crunch and the fact that your main characters can do whatever the heck they want. They don't actually have to pay attention to the narrative. There's a lot less control over them.
I pay attention to nothing.
Yeah, seriously. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just who I've been playing with this whole time. While I struggle to like yank Errol's attention away from the camera on the wall. But even in digital games, he like skips over all the dialogue. He's like, it's fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm surprised people do that. Like, we'll play test and I'll be like, oh, did you? And then this little thing, and they're like, oh, I just didn't even read it. I just played through it.
So it's a rampant problem.
So the problem is, okay, so like I'm playing a game right now. It's a really fun one. It's called The Raft, and the problem is that every time you spend time reading documents, your health and your water go down.
Okay,
That's
but
just
that's
not
different.
fun.
But when you have the
So,
time and the
well,
breath
yeah,
to...
we don't have the time. We want to solve the puzzles. Now, to be fair, it depends. It depends on the game, because if I find it good, if I find it fun, for example, I remember we were playing this one Nancy Drew game, and then they just had this small little Easter eggs where everybody, all the actors, the people in the game were like actors, and they were recording themselves, and so they were recording themselves doing lines, and it's hilarious. And I just played through every single one of these dialogue options because I found it so funny. And so when I find something that's written well or I find fun, then I will read everything. But if it's just like, wow, you're going on forever, like, oh my goodness, the non-Nonary games, how many times I pressed enter for those things? Like, good grief, just speed it up already. Then maybe not. Anyway, I should speak. I'm sorry, I shouldn't talk because my games tend to be crazy wordy. So
yeah, and then there's
who am I really to, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, I think it is always a challenge because we want to, develop a story in our game, but there are definitely users who just tap through the story. So I'm sure it's like every game designer, you have to kind of think about what happens if the player just didn't read anything. Can they still figure it out? And we hope they can.
I have a question for Andrew.
yeah.
So when you were starting on making this app, like making an app, like, and you wanted to incorporate escape room and puzzle design, like what made you decide to do it in the format that we have, which is like the adventure escape, which sort of has similarities to like the point and click mysteries, but kind of like more puzzly, and as opposed to just doing like a strictly puzzle based app, like the doors, like there's like those like a million doors.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it really was kind of a couple of things. I mean, part of it is personal preference. Like I am always more motivated to solve something when there is a story kind of backing it up. So I think that's compelling, and I like to add that. So I have played some of those doors games, but normally I quit after a while because I'm not as pulled to go through. And in terms of like, why is it adventure? And part of that also is in the very beginning, there's a lot of great games out now. In the very beginning, when I was looking around for some of these escape games, it felt like a lot of them didn't have really cool graphics. So I thought that was something that would be nice to have. Just because it's a free-to-play escape game doesn't mean it has to have bad graphics. And having some of these environments that we're in are really, really fun. You're exploring the ruins, or you're checking out movie stars or things like that. So yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. Tammy's working on this game now, which is, we'll not say too much about it, but it has has this kind of cool. How would you describe, I guess, the world that we're in? It's like,
I don't know which one.
the the inventor one.
Yeah. It's I mean, I don't know how much to say, but it's it's magical. Like it's just like, and it can be anything. It's like beautiful, but familiar. Like people, I think, will like understand what's going on. But there's lots of jewels, right? It's like bejeweled, and it's really pretty and elaborate, and just I really get the making it beautiful being a part of Haiku's kind of thing, because our games, the art teams we've worked with are fantastic, and they design beautiful things. And so the game we're in now, it's going to be fun. It's a magical kind of, I don't
Whimsical.
know. Whimsical. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of whimsy.
How many people are usually involved in creating one game?
Yeah, so normally there's a small handful of game designers, anywhere from 1 to 3, I would say. We have one producer person normally assigned to each game to keep track of the schedule. And then we also have a number of artists. So the number seems to vary from like 3 to 5 artists, and we have developers as well. Probably 2 to 4 developers. So it's not all the people out all the time, but it is quite a big effort. There's like a lot of moving pieces to get one of these out.
Cool. And how long does it take to maybe finish one game? I can understand that it's, you have different it's just dependent on the resources that you have available to you. But how long would you say it would take you to create one?
Yeah. Roughly, it takes around 6 to 9 months.
Okay.
Nice. And
Very
so in
cool.
your collection of, I don't even know, like your back catalog, how many escape, if you started for a year, right? Your company's been around for a year. How many games do you have now?
Oh, they've been
Yeah.
around a lot longer
Website.
than a year.
Oh, a lot longer
I've
than a year.
only been
Sorry.
around a
Oh, right,
year.
Sorry. I'm confused. Yes.
Yeah. So we have okay. So it's a little bit confusing because we used to launch our apps all separately. So it would be like every app would be every game would be a different app on the App Store. So we had Adventure Escape Murder Manor, then you would download Adventure Escape Asylum or something like that. But roughly 2 years ago, I think now, we started putting all the apps into one app, as we call it. And this app is called Adventure Escape Mysteries. And we just found it was easier to maintain because previously we had all these different Unity versions, which is our development, and an app would break and we'd have to go back and fix 5 apps, but not the other 10. So now we have it all in one app. So if you count all the games we've launched into Adventure Escape Mysteries as separate games, we have, I think, around 26 games out right now. So we work on multiple simultaneously, and it's a lot of fun to get them out.
Nice. I'm looking at your site right now, so I was just like looking through the games, and I got distracted. Oh no! I was like, murder mysteries, yeah.
Yeah, my first game I designed with Haiku was a murder mystery with Detective Kate. She was awesome.
That's
fun to work
awesome.
with her. It's called Picture Perfect. The game's set at a wedding, but it's a murder mystery, so things maybe don't go according to plan.
Of
So
course
have
they
you
do.
found with, like, now that COVID's around, have you found, I don't know, that the business or purchase of games have gone up or gone down or stayed relatively the same? The appetite of the audience, what's it been like?
Yeah, in the very beginning, meaning around April and May, there was a lot more people playing these games. And I think the numbers are still up, but it's come down a little bit as people have found some other things to do as well.
What are they all doing out there in the world?
Yeah, I don't know what you would be doing except just playing escape rooms in your house, but apparently other things are happening.
Well, it's kind of funny. I think I can't remember if this was on the podcast at one point in time, but we're also noticing in the Facebook puzzle people group, all these projects, escape room type take home projects, are just launching one
So
after
many.
another, and
Okay,
it's
yeah.
like everybody's COVID project is finally coming to fruition, and it's all being released now.
Yeah.
There
If
are
I
a
didn't
lot.
have kids or if I didn't have a job, I would definitely probably have made one myself. So it's like I get it. It's
Yeah.
there's been so many in that coming out. I like all the virtual escape rooms too, though, because I've gotten the chance, with time constraints with kids, can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But I've been able to play lots of games, and I actually made it. I got my tally up to enough to be a voter for the thing.
The Turpicas.
Oh,
Yeah, my live.
can't
I
say
think
it
I'd only
still.
played like one of the live ones, so that I was like, I shouldn't even count for that. But I played a number of the virtual ones that were on the list, so that was fun.
Oh, it
Nice.
counts. It always counts, I tell you. Woo!
Tammy's good at finding some for our company to do. So Tammy
Oh,
would
nice.
find,
Cool.
yeah. So we have some team building activities, but really just playing games together is what it is.
It's
And
research.
it's
You can think of it as
super fun.
research.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been super, super fun. It's a really fun group of people to work with because everyone, we all play each other's games and we play other games and we talk about games we play. And so we're all everyone seems pretty sold out to the escape room, puzzle, like the whole genre. And so that's been really fun to join a team like that. And it was interesting too, because we were already a remote team. So there's some of us in New York and there's some of us in California, Washington. I'm not sure where like Kansas or something.
Kansas,
Anyway, like
yeah.
all over the country. And so we were already remote. So this transition to remote, like for everyone else, seemed like not a big deal to me. And
Right.
yeah, we were able to pick, but it also gave us a lot more opportunities because then everyone's designing these fun team building activities that for remote teams that we probably wouldn't have been able to do before. So that's been really a fun thing, part of it too.
So in terms of designing as well, do you find that because you're in a digital space, you're much less constrained by the ideas that you could try to implement with these games, like specifically like around setting and
Physics.
theme and physics and that kind of thing?
Yeah.
Magic.
Magic. Yeah.
Some escape
Yeah,
rooms do a good job, but go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, I think it's mostly, there are some good pros and cons of designing digitally. So a lot of the pros are, yeah, you could just make magic happen, on the screen. Physics doesn't have to happen. We have, in our Dark Ruins game, the plane crashes in the beginning of the game. So that's not something that's as easy to replicate in the real world. Some of the challenges we have is that part of the fun of a real life escape room sometimes is being in the physical space and finding things. So, for example, if you find something hidden in a drawer behind a desk, like that could be quite fun in a real escape game, right? You're like kind of crawling around, you get a light, you like look in there. In our games, it's like harder to replicate that feeling because you might just tap there and, either you get an item or you don't, or maybe there's a zoom in on that area, but it kind of clues it away a little more in a way that a real life escape room doesn't have. So I think it's interesting to think about designing for the two areas.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I'm glad you covered it. My next question could be about cons. So, but yes, the one of the first things I latched onto with escape rooms was the fact that I love adventure games and that kind of thing, but I don't necessarily in an in-person version of an escape room, I don't have to like be looking for hot spots,
Pixel
right?
hunting?
I don't have to. I'm not scrolling around the screen seeing where my cursor changes suddenly, and I can click on something.
Although we might be doing that in an escape room. Oh my goodness! If they really make searching hard, then it's like, oh, it's here somewhere.
It's the in-person equivalent of pixel hunting, where you're like,
right,
pulling the posters off the walls. Yeah,
Like corners of the room.
but like I played I'm not going to say which room or anything, but I played a virtual room last week with Errol and company, and it was one in which I have played the in-person version and Errol has not. And playing the virtual one, you can see where some things are lost in translation, because when we were finished it, I had to kind of go to the group. Now imagine experiencing that in person. Like imagine, having that happen to you in real life, and that's an experience that you can't. It's very difficult to replicate that feeling in a digital space.
But I think that they were hindered somehow by the fact that they had the physical space, and so it was a scary room. It was a scary room, and I wasn't scared, and I don't think my teammates were scared. I'm not trying to say, "Oh, Errol's so brave." No. I'm not like, because we did another scare room, and everybody was petrified. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Andrew and I are like the scaredy. I feel like we're always like, I don't know, like scary things.
Yeah. We probably under index in terms of scary games just because a lot of us are actually scared by them. So we don't make as many as perhaps we should.
I think making a scary game would be like so much more fun than playing a scary game. I don't like to be scared very often, but scaring someone else isn't as
There was the game that we played that was very scary for the teammates, and it was glorious, was Horror Hotel, and it's also on the Turpicas, and they did a really good job.
We have one teammate who keeps like suggesting, because we're like doing these fun activities together, and he's like, let's do a horror game, or like around Halloween he was like, we should do a horror game. We're like, no, we shouldn't.
You wouldn't want to do Horror Hotel because they do the scare factor quite well.
Yeah, you'd think being on your computer at home, you think you'd have like a boundary of, but I get it. It's still scary.
No, it was so fun. I'm a horrible person. It was so fun to watch them. My sister was screaming and then she would be dodging, even though she's here and there's nothing happening, but she would dodge.
It wasn't always scary, but it was definitely stressful. It was like,
I love it. That's funny.
yeah.
Yeah, designing just the potential, the idea of it when I was applying was just like really exciting because I like had all these fun ideas, but I'm like, you can't fill a room with water in an escape game, right? Like, like all these like liability and insurance issues that it just doesn't matter. You could just do whatever you want. So like you can have, you're on mountaintops and you're in the ocean and you're, wherever. It's really fun. But then we translate to like, I don't know, a bazillion languages.
I think it's eight additional languages, so nine languages total. Yeah.
Oh, so does that mean a lot of your puzzles tend to be language independent, language dependent, or no, language independent?
Language independent.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Sorry.
Independent of language. Yes. So we don't design word puzzles. We don't, things that require
no crosswords and things like that. Yeah.
Because we do some Asian languages where we don't even use the Roman alphabet most of the time. So it's really fun though. I remember there was a woman who I think you guys interviewed. She had pink hair.
Oh yes, that'd be Shannon.
Yeah. Yes, Shannon. She has a lot of talking points that kind of were interesting to me because they were evolving around language in rooms, some of them, and
cultural bias as well.
Cultural bias, right? So that's something too. We probably have to look out for. But yeah, it's been fun to kind of not. I don't know. Like I love word puzzles and I love designing word puzzles, and my husband especially, like when we design together, he can just like crank out a bunch of word puzzles. He's quite good at it. But taking that away, it was kind of fun. It's like almost, it just broadens your ideas of what you could do, and you figure out, well, if you don't use a word there, what could you do instead? Same with color. Like this last game we worked on, we just did our best to make it colorblind friendly. And that's something that people might not think about or consider most of the time, especially if you don't deal with that on a regular basis. But it's fun because there's this really cool online generator where you can pop in the colors you're using and it will show you what they look like to three sets of different color blindness. And it's not that hard to avoid, but it's just something that I think people don't think about, or just, so that's also fun too, because it's like, okay, well, if I'm not using color, like maybe I could use shape instead, or color and shape, just like combinations of different things that can still look good to everyone. That's fun too with the digital game.
Nice. Yeah, that's a consideration, like how accessible to make your games, and apart from there's the color blindness. Was there anything else that came up as far as accessibility in designing the games, or is it something you're discovering along the way?
I think the language, the color blindness, and then probably the last thing is things being too small, because sometimes
some of us are old, like me. Yeah, I'm super old.
Yeah, and then it's just a matter of some people, the screen size could vary from a tiny phone to an iPad Pro, so we often start the designs on computer or on paper, and so we have more space than our users. So we're always kind of like trying to remind ourselves, okay, is that fair that they can actually see that? And if not, do we need a zoom? So we do think about that as well.
Yeah, I remembered they did a port of Myst onto the Nintendo 3DS, and it was the worst thing that could have been done, because they took something that's normally on a PC screen that's already old, no less, and it didn't really do a lot to update that or upgrade it, and put it onto this tiny little screen that it was just a terrible decision that somehow got through to production, and oh my goodness.
Yeah, I guess for Myst you might have to change every single background so that it was more visible or something. But sometimes we have art and it is just like, oh, it's just it looks really beautiful, but it's just so zoomed back that you can see these nice mountains, but if you want to hide a key or something in the scene, it would be microscopic. So I think you do have to be pretty aware of it from the beginning.
So when it comes to things like beta testing and when you're actually like testing out the puzzles of these games, how does it work for a digital format as opposed to, because when I see escape games beta tested and that kind of thing, it's, people come in with like either paper versions of their puzzles or you see like something partially built out physically. So I know it works differently from the digital, but I've never actually done one before.
Yeah, we still use a mix of sometimes paper, but often we prototype our puzzles in Photoshop. So we'll make the puzzle and we might type up the rules like, it will the puzzle is complete when all the stones are red, and then we'll just be the computer in our brain and kind of change the layers. So that works for, I would say, actually the majority of our puzzles. What do you think, Tammy?
Yeah, totally. It works really well. I had one puzzle in this last game that I encouraged people when they were trying it to just make a paper version of it because it was just like way easier. But for the most part,
like sliding things.
Yeah, if you're sliding or moving things, Photoshop can be not as fun. But that was a huge a perk of this job too, is I got to learn how to use Photoshop. And if you don't know how, I recommend it because it's really fun and good for puzzle design too. So we just usually send the files over. And lately I've had somebody had been making some like on, I don't know, some kind of like internet design thing. I wasn't ever able to access them, but there's also like options out there for that. But for the most part, Photoshop,
Yeah, we also when the game is further along, we do kind of beta test it with our own internal team. So we'll play it when it's actually in the game. So that is a different step. But that we try to paper prototype it or Photoshop prototype it before we get to that stage.
So one thing that makes adventure games and online, at least digital escape room games different than real online games would be the multiplayer aspect. Do you or have you ever thought about making multiplayer escape room games? I can understand that the return on investment, I don't know how that would be because that'd be like, you have to find somebody else that has the game. But yeah, I don't know.
We've definitely thought about it, and there are some games which you could play with two people that seem to have done pretty well. I've played some, and they've definitely been fun. We don't have anything right now that we are talking about, but it's something that we might want to do in the future.
That'd be cool. Yeah. That's the thing with mobile games, like it'd be awesome to be able to play with somebody else. Sorry, that's just a thought. It's not a question.
We know. I think it'd be awesome too.
I think we all have that desire, like that idea of playing with a team or doing it together is something that we know that's something that especially escape room enthusiasts really like. So we're trying to think of like the right way to do it for our company as well.
I know. Imagine if you could like a Jackbox version of escape rooms. Wouldn't that be kind of fun?
That's a great idea.
Jackbox version of escape. Can you do Jackbox with narrative? I don't know if you could.
To be more puzzle based.
Why not?
Well, the Jackbox games have like little mini stories to them, kind of.
Yeah. But I mean, not so much that you have to play a Jackbox game. It's more along the lines that you have your phones interacting with the game.
Oh, you're talking about the mechanic. I thought you
sorry, yeah. As opposed to we're gonna play draw thing.
They have it with some PlayStation games, which was a mixed reaction, I think, from people, but it has been done before. It's just been it's always on a TV, right? It's Do you guys have any? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think with mobile, like you see a lot, like I don't know, when you picture people playing mobile games, like where are they? They're like at the bus stop, or they're at the airport, or like my husband, like he just put the kids down. Now he's sitting in the hallway and guarding the door to make sure they don't come out, sitting there playing his game. You know what I mean? Like those are the kind of instances where, like, at least like from my experience, I see or I have been playing those games. So it would change like the like the dynamic, like your interaction with the game, but that's not a bad thing. And I think there's space for that. Like some games like that, like TikTok. Have you guys done TikTok Tale for Two?
Yes, yes, we
Yeah,
have.
that's
That
nice.
like that kind of a game has that like built-in aspect, and it's just, you know, you can't just sit and play it though. You have to like, we're finding the time, we're getting down, we're doing this. So there's definitely room for that, and those are their own thing. But I think it'd be fun to do something like that in the future.
That is a big benefit, though, of the mobile escape that you brought up, which is, yeah, it's the thing that will scratch my itch when I can't play with my teammates in a real life one, or when you know, no one's available, and I'm just sitting there passing the time at a bus stop, and I can pull out my phone and have an adventure. Hooray! That does backfire when it's things like horror games, like you said. I did play Simulacra, I think it was, on a bus, and that was a mistake.
You're screaming and everyone's staring
I jumped
at you.
out of my seat and scared half the people around me, because you have your headphones on, right? And that's when horror games get really, like, the sound design of this thing, I'm just like, oh my god. But you know, when it's things like, these escape room games, I will download them as often as I can, because it's a great fun way to pass the time, and to exercise my brain, and to, you know, find out a story. Did you guys have a favorite of yours that you've either designed so far or played so far, in your repertoire?
Oh man, that's hard. Maybe you could talk about Picture Perfect, Tammy.
Yeah,
You
you're
did
asking
work in that.
Andrew this,
Yeah.
right? And then all of a
Yeah,
sudden it's like,
asking
oh,
the
he's
baby.
got favorites.
Oh, no, I was asking both of them.
Andrew can't say that. Who's your favorite
really,
child?
I really enjoyed playing before I started working at Haiku. I really enjoyed playing our Painted Worlds game, which I don't know if you played any of them, but I kind of lean into the whimsical, kind of more outside of the box themes, and so that one was especially kind of compelling to me, and it was really fun for me. But I think I've played and enjoyed pretty much all of our games. Like, I love the Detective Kate mysteries. Like, she's such a fun character, and it's so fun to follow her through these stories. And our pirate game's really fun, and our ruins games are fun. And I don't know, there's like, you know, there's good aspects to all of them, and for each a different time. But my game was our most recent release, called, actually, I think that's mostly true still. We have another one soon, I think. But it's called Picture Perfect, and it follows Detective Kate, and she and her partner Murphy, who is another one of my favorite characters I've seen in one of these games. And it's fun to get more and more of their relationship and interactions, and I get to write the dialogue for all this. And
Oh,
so,
that's fun. Yeah.
oh, it's so much fun. So I studied English in school, so I used to do a lot of writing, and it's been years since I've done much, but getting to write stories and dialogue again is like so much fun. So anyway, so just getting that stuff. And so, yeah, with Picture Perfect, it was really fun to kind of get to decide where the setting was going to be. And the people I was working out with were like, we want to do a wedding, because there's, like, you know, you think about a wedding, there's all these beautiful things, right? Like the venue, the dresses, the flowers, the cake, you know, like there was just kind of all of these different things we could visit and design puzzles around. And it was just, yeah, it was a great experience. And that game I've played it probably, I don't know, 4 times through or something, and that, like, little parts of it more than that. Like, I've just played it over and over. And so I enjoy it every time. And I wrote the puzzles and I tested the puzzles, but I still think it's fun. So
That's a big point. Like, that's a big point in your favor. Like, if you could play your own stuff and not like, you know, get sick of it, that's amazing.
There's a logic puzzle in chapter 1 that was my first puzzle I designed, like, after I got hired. And I still think I don't know the answer right away. I still have to, like, go through it and logic it out. And I really enjoy that one still. So yeah, I think, and I've seen some of our fans have played our games multiple times, and I think that they, like, it works. Like, if you play one and there's 20, and you play it again in like a year, it's like you can totally enjoy it still. So
I mean, that's what's been happening with me and the Nancy Drew games,
Or Myst.
actually.
Yeah,
Or
don't
Myst.
you like have a yearly tradition to play all the Myst games 30 times.
Not lately. It sucks. But no, like Nancy Drew, we played all the ball with Errol's daughters, and I enjoyed them so much. I've been playing through them again, and I thought I'm going to remember everything. I do not remember everything, and not only that, but like even the stuff I do remember is still quite enjoyable. And so it's it's fun to replay games. It is.
Yeah, sometimes I get an email which is like, the lock on the chest is not working, and I'll be like, which lock? Which chest? there's a lot, Yeah.
The lock on the chest.
Oh no, it's
is not
true.
working.
Sometimes some people just assume I know the answers to the puzzles I've made. No, I can't remember
Right.
yesterday, so it's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, I asked the wrong question. You don't have to answer this one because it might be
Ooh, it's drama?
spoilers. No, it's not.
Oh, it's spoiled.
It is
Okay,
not
yeah, be more
drama.
excited
I was
if it
asking, like, are there any fun genres that you would like to do in the future for your games that you haven't?
Yeah, you must like have a tome of ideas of things that you want to do, probably, right? Yeah, it's just a notebook, a whole bookshelf of, and you say, Andrew, I want to do this next. Well, finish the other one first.
Yeah. We definitely have more ideas than we can execute, and then there's definitely, we definitely release fewer games than like our users ask for. We work like so long on the game, we'll release it, and then 2 days later, of course, they'll email us, be like, when's the next game coming out? We're like, oh, that took so long. I mean, we appreciate it too, of course. Yeah. So no, I mean, I don't think I want to say specifically like what new areas are coming out, but yeah, we kind of
One with a dirigible.
one of the dirigible. Yeah.
Errol's thing is with dirigibles.
With
I don't know what a
dirigibles?
dirigible
game.
is. What's a dirigible?
It's like
Dirigible's like a blimp.
it's like a zeppelin. It's the zeppelin, like
Oh, I know what that is.
with that people
Yeah.
can ride it and stuff. And
Okay,
yeah.
okay. We'll keep that in
Yeah.
mind.
Errol, I don't know why dirigible? Is it a Miyazaki thing? Is it a
Oh, actually, it is a Miyazaki thing. If
It is a Miyazaki thing,
Kiki's
yeah.
delivery service, there's a dirigible in there.
what's it called? Castle in the Sky.
I don't think
The
there's any
Howl's Moving
dirigibles in
Castle?
there. There's no dirigibles in there.
What does she
There
fall
might
out
have been in Howl's Moving Castle.
What
but
does she fall out of in the beginning of the movie?
Oh, you're right. I am so sorry. I guess
am
it is
right.
a big
Oh,
dirigible.
did I
That's a
just
good
get
word.
a Miyazaki thing that Errol didn't
Yeah.
remember?
Mind you, those planes, I don't know if you'd really call them dirigibles because they're just like made up aircraft machines, really.
How do you spell dirigible?
Dirigible.
Okay.
Tammy doesn't believe me. It's just like, no, it's not a real thing,
I
Errol.
believe you. I just like to learn new things. I'm in the trivia league, and it's like whenever I learn something new, there's always a question about it in the next week. So now I'm like, I have to remember dirigible because there's going to be a question about it, and I'm going to be like, Errol told me what that was. I don't remember. So now I know dirigible. Thanks.
Errol, do you? So I have to ask this because Errol normally asks this, and now I'm asking it. So you mentioned your fans and and that kind of thing of your games. So what's your community like for your games? And is there like a forum they go to discuss?
Do you have a Discord?
Do you have a Discord?
Okay. Yeah.
We should have
So
a Discord.
we could do a little more work on this, to be honest. We do not have a Discord, but we have a lot of really dedicated fans that have been playing our games, and some
a
of them are
Facebook
nice
page.
enough to email us. Yeah, our Facebook page, we have, facebook.com/adventurescape and facebook.com/Haiku Games. Some fans congregate there and talk to each other, email us, etc. And we basically I try to interact with fans wherever they try to talk to us. So if they sometimes they leave reviews on Google or Apple, sometimes they email our support email address, sometimes they send us messages on Facebook. So I always try to respond to them, but there is not a dedicated person. It is just me right now who's doing this, so I do the best I can. But
No,
yeah,
and that's a lot of work. So don't worry. You don't have to like. We understand. Not that we have a lot of fans. No, but just when it comes to engaging with your audience, it's hard.
at least I'm a fan of you, Errol. So.
Oh,
Yay, Errol and Amanda.
No, but
Everyone's a fan of Errol, yeah.
No, I have a lot of anti-fans.
Well, it's you and me now after the while. People will find out about that. So, yeah.
So many anti-fans.
Amanda, who's an anti-fan?
I'm an anti-fan.
Oh, Amanda's an anti.
Working with your anti-fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's only very recently, and people.
Oh no, I don't think
why.
it's recently.
No, recently it was a knife's edge for a while. It was always above, right? It's always like he's still a stand-up guy, that Errol,
Yeah,
and he's smart and he's intelligent. And now I hate him, and now he can die.
Wow.
But I will continue to work with him.
Out.
Yeah.
Drama.
Get ahead in the world. Yeah.
But yeah, it is difficult engaging with, cause like, I can imagine you all have many fans and a lot of, like, I can't even keep up when I have the Cryptex hunt and people are just asking me, I need help on this. Oh, okay. And it's hard, right? just hard just trying to keep up with the support of things too. That's why I only do it once a year. It's too
Yeah, I
hard.
don't have to. It's nice for my position. I don't even think about anything like that.
It's just all Andrew.
And it's like a protective barrier. Like I'll I stay behind my little designer hat world.
Hidey hole in your hidey hole.
It's nice.
Yeah. I think that is one of the things about I am trying to shield the designers from all the small stuff that comes in. So, it's easier to design when you're able to focus on it, I assume.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The funny thing is that I always refer to Tammy Dorn as Tammy Dorn, and I told her why. It's like sometimes she'll email me. It's like, my name is Tammy Dorn.
Oh yeah.
If you remember that you helped me get this job. I was like, no, I know who you are.
This happened so I've met Errol like 4 times now. So like it was like the first time was like on the enthusiast group or something, and then I sent him a Facebook message. And I was like, hi, it's Tammy Dorn. I messaged you on this, and he's like, okay. And then on Slack, I'm like, hi, this is Tammy Dorn, in case you don't remember who I am. And I explained the whole story again. I don't know. You might meet lots of people. Like
No, it is true. It's not so much. I do meet lots of people, and I am horrible with memory, especially if there's a user pick, then I'll have a better chance of remembering who a person is. But if there's no user pick, then oh my goodness. But I do remember you because of your last name. And I was telling her this, is that the Tammy Dorn reminds me of a Dorn beast. And that might, like, oh, that sounds like horrible. What are you talking about? But a Dorn beast, for anybody out there, if you want to know fun trivia, is a creature from Zork. And it's named after one of the developers, I do believe, and so that's why I always remember Tammy Dorn, or just that's what I call her by her first and last name too. I'm just like, I know who you are.
It's fun. It's always fun to have a nice little story to remember people's names and remember people by.
Amanda's going, are you going to continue on with your stories, Errol?
Old man escape roomer. That's who he is. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. Anyway, did you have any more questions, Errol?
Oh, I may have, but I forgot them all because I'm an old man.
Escape roomer.
I should write them down. This is what I should do. It's like, oh, remind me of something. I can write it down.
You don't
now.
write down your questions?
No.
Oh, well, no. Some people do. Like, we tried to.
Oh, no. ManPans does. Sorry,
I was like, I bet Amanda does.
Yeah. ManPans is the organizer.
Find out other podcasters have show notes, right? So it's like, oh, yeah, let's write down our questions and where we might want this interview to go. And Errol's like, great. And I'm like, did you read them? No. And then, like, just ask us questions anyway.
I press skip on the dialogue trees, remember? I just don't. Sometimes I look at the show notes like, oh, look at I hope ManPans remembers all these things.
There's a question. You said you wrote dialogue, Tammy. Is your dialogue like dialogue trees, or is it fairly linear, like how it goes? I like both personally.
It's mostly dialogue, like linear dialogue. It's only a dialogue tree.
trees in some of our games, but not all our games. So
They're tough.
the Covenant is probably the most dramatic one. That's this horror game where you could vote off different people to be sacrificed.
Oh.
It's pretty it's meant to be scary. I was scared. It's
I'm
probably not
scared.
that scary in the absolute sense of the word, though. But yeah, that one you depending on who is with you, different things will trigger.
Yeah, and I didn't really know that. I was on maternity leave when our team play tested that game, the Covenant. And so I came back and everybody else had already played it and they'd already talked about it and I didn't know anything about it pretty really. And so I played it myself and I was like, oh, that was so interesting. And I like I saw this ending and I was like, oh, the ending, this and that. And then somebody, I don't even know if I found out internally. I think I read a review of it or something and I was like, what? Something else could have happened? I like did not know that there were alternatives or different storylines. And I was just like shocked. And I was so, it was pretty fun because it was, one of our games, but I just wasn't around for the discussion of it. And so then I got to experience it all.
It's a lovely surprise.
Yeah. I was like, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I love Haiku Games. I got my mug.
I saw.
Yeah.
Although I would think one of the problems I find with a lot of escape rooms, not a problem, really, it's more so that if you have your own facility or you make your own puzzle hunts, you don't want to repeat yourself when it comes to puzzles over and over again. And now that you have so many out there, it's like, oh, what am I going to do now with my next game? Or I don't know. Tammy Dorn seems to like just write all the puzzles down in a great big tome, as I said. And so she must have an encyclopedia to pull from.
Oh, it's so hard to think of new things. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we try not to repeat ourselves. There are some puzzles that we will do in a different way, or we'll change the start location and things like that. So we do stuff like that. For the puzzles that require you to make more of a logical leap, we try. Those are normally like specific to what's in the room. So we don't repeat those. But yeah, it is always a challenge, and we've said, we've kind of cut off some areas of us for puzzles since we can't do that many word puzzles and for example. So yeah, I think it's always a challenge to come up with new things, but
can't do smell puzzles.
Can't do smell puzzles. Yeah.
No smell puzzles.
Yeah. But I think that's kind of a testament to our designers like Tammy. It takes a long time to come up with things which are new and unique and good. So we really need good designers in order to do that.
It's fun. It's like interesting because it's like when I'm working on a project, it's like, there's like a starting point that you kind of have to decide on for each one. And that's why I really like having a project-based job, and it's even smaller projects because we do chapter by chapter. And so when I start a chapter, it's like, okay, do I design the space first, like the room and what it's going to look like, or do I design the puzzle and fit it into the room? And so it's nice to have two jumping off points, right? Like I can create the bedroom or the beach or whatever I want it to be, and then like get that space and get inspired by the space for the puzzles. Or I can, I have this really great puzzle. Is there a way I can incorporate it into this space? And so it's fun. And another cool thing about the adventure escape games is sometimes you go to an escape room and like the puzzles, it's like, why is there a puzzle here? Like it doesn't make any sense to this, like the story. It's like, which is fine. Honestly, it doesn't bother me personally because I am a puzzle lover. I like that. I think you guys did the one of the volcano gods in Seattle.
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The puzzle, and that doesn't bother me at all. But it's kind of nice with Haiku is like all the puzzles really make sense in the game, right? Like you need to get into this case, you need to unlock it. There's a combo, and it like the space kind of sets you up for it. And so it's fun to kind of have those structures in place to be inspired to make the puzzles work.
Yeah, I think it's all about intention too, right? It depends on what you like. When I hear of when a room might say like, we are the most narrative driven roomiest thing ever, that's when I tend to get on the white gloves and
they set up your expectations that
but with something like the volcano gods, they don't make any secret of the fact that there's like the barest of themes laid on top of this, and it's basically an excuse to do a bunch of fun puzzles, right? And that it's still fun because that's what they told me it was, that's what I expected, and that's what I had fun with. Same with like, you know, Haiku Games. You guys are like, yeah, we do mysteries and adventures, and I'm like, great, I love mysteries and adventures. So I think it's like, yeah, setting up those expectations. But when
Yeah, and if we
somebody,
play your games and it's not a first-person
Yeah.
shooter, then we're not going to complain, you know.
yeah,
So. Crafting game. Why can't I craft in these games?
yeah,
Yeah.
because when things are more narrative focused, yeah, that's what I do hope is that the puzzles can at least try to adhere to the world that they're in and that they make sense within the narrative that they're in as well. So
Yeah, and we can go
Yeah.
anywhere in our games too, so that's another plus for us. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
I guess if you have or like 1 to 3 rooms and you're trying to make this all these puzzles work and keep people busy for an hour, I could see it getting hard to kind of keep everything like believable. But when you have a 8-chapter game where you're visiting, you know, however, like 24 different locations, like it's a lot easier to kind of make it make sense.
yeah, definitely. Errol, anything else that you can think of?
I can, but I noticed that we're like an hour over. Like,
Okay.
so I should stop. I was gonna go on, but no.
Okay, old man escape roomer, we'll cut you off there.
I like that sword you have, Errol.
Pardon?
The sword,
Oh
the
yeah,
master
that's my
sword.
daughter's sword. It's the master sword. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
my nephew has a master sword. I love it.
nice. We should like
Do you have,
compare
like,
swords.
An epee too? Do you sword fight? Is that a
So-
thing people talk to you about still? Do you get that, or is that am I like 50 years too late? Errol Flynn, like Errol Flynn?
Yeah, no. I do.
You get it
yeah,
all the
sorry.
time?
So sometimes when people ask me what my name is, I used to, a long time ago, I used to say Errol Flynn. And then after a while, nobody knew what that was. And sometimes I go, oh, you know, maybe Errol, he was an owl in Harry Potter. No, okay, well, whatever. So, but another thing is, I also used to fence a long time ago. So I actually thought to myself, oh, wait, how did you know I fenced? But not like serious fencing. Yeah, it was just like, you know, it was like with a club at my work, and it was amazing fun. We you know, you get to bash each other with.
Sounds like fun.
with
How did
swords.
you
Oh, yeah.
how did you use your sword? You just go with a fencing sword and just start like
No, there are actually techniques to
Oh, I know.
No, I didn't just go and whap people.
I know,
No,
but
no,
you
no,
you
but-
use the word bash, so I you know,
yeah,
that's what
yeah.
I
Technically you
pictured.
can't slash in the version of fencing I did. It's all just poking. So and whatever. Anyway, doesn't matter. It's, that's
Sorry,
yeah.
I keep, you know, it's like we keep trying to end and then I keep saying that. I have so many things. It's like I feel like I do this in a meeting sometimes because I want to chat with people longer because it's like,
Oh, no,
how
don't
I
worry.
talk to people and so it's
You
nice
don't have
talk
to
somebody.
justify that to me.
There have been days where we've officially ended the interview and then
Yeah, feel
about
free to
for
cut
about an
whatever you
hour
want.
afterwards it tends to keep going, so we have the behind the scenes
It's-
talk that
yeah.
Or like
nobody
sometimes
hears.
for team building, I'll suggest things like, oh, we could just get together and chat or like, you know, do something, just talk to each, and then everyone wants to do escape room. So I'm like, okay, but
Yeah. Yeah, Tammy keeps trying to suggest socializing, and everyone's like, "No, let's just play some games." Yeah.
Play some games.
What do
That's
you have
okay, too.
another online escape room coming up that you're going to do?
No, we don't have one booked. I
there's
think
not
it's
one on the docket. We just did
yeah.
jury duty. So fun.
Oh, right,
Oh, that's
right,
the one
right.
I want to do. Yeah, I want to do
Yeah.
jury duty.
Oh my gosh, I loved it.
I
Sounds
know. I
right
have
up
one
my
booked at
alley.
9 today. Actually, my sister went wild and booked like 3 in 1 week. So I have a now in escape room world that wasn't anything back in the day, but now because things are busy, you would think it'd be easier for me to do escape rooms because I'm just always home. But oh well.
Oh well.
Yeah, I try to find ones that we can. There's 8 of us, so I try to find things that we can
Oh.
all be participating in. And there's like, it's kind of few and far between. So I
No,
think
very
there's more
true.
coming up. But
Can't you split yourselves up into 4?
yeah, we've done that
You can do
twice,
that.
but it's not quite as.
No.
I don't know. I like doing it all together.
Yeah. No, I understand when you want
We did Moonshot where we were in teams of 4, and that one was actually really fun because we were like, have you seen that one with Reason?
Oh, no, I don't think I have.
It's designed for like larger groups. I think they can
Oh,
handle
okay.
like 100 or something, but we did it with
Ooh,
the
right,
8 of
maybe.
us, and we were in 2 teams of 4. And they have on like a background screen, like you can see like the progress of the other team. So it's like a race.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that one
Nice.
was really fun. I'd like to do another one like that. I bet we could find something like that. It was good.
Oh, yeah, that would make sense. It'd be cool. Yeah, especially when they incorporate things like that where you can see their progress. Which
That
you
one was more of a
totally-
puzzle hunt. than a escape room, but it's fun.
I might actually have to go now. I'm so sorry.
Oh,
I
no worries.
I have my last exam. So
Yeah. You have an
yeah.
exam. No worries. We will.
Oh, no worries. But thank you so much for joining us today, Andrew and Tammy. And it's been a lot of fun learning about the escape room world from a digital perspective and from a mobile phone perspective. And if people would like to check out Haiku Games, where can they go?
Yeah, we're at Haiku Games. If you type that into the App Store or in Google Play, you should find our games. Our most popular game is called Adventure Escape Mysteries. We're also at Haiku Games Co. That's haikugamesco.com. So we're there also if you want to check it out on your computer. Yeah, and on Facebook, facebook.com/Adventure Escape. So lots of options.
I know I'm going to check it out because I have a tablet now, so I can play it on a bigger screen. It's great.
Yeah, you won't have to deal with the small tap issue.
Appreciating the artwork in all of its glory. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much, and I
Thank
will.
you.
Yeah, I will talk us out.
Good luck with your exam.
Thanks for having
good
us.
luck with your exam. Thank you.
Thanks for introducing us to Tammy also. So it's great to have her.
Woohoo!
Yay.
Tammy Dorn.
Okay. Room Escape Divas is brought to you by Inverse Genius. You can go to inversegenius.com to find other fun podcasts just like this one. You can also find us on our Facebook page. Just click
This is
like.
a Dorn beast. See,
Oh my god.
I wasn't
really?
lying
cute.
about. See, this is on the Zork wiki. I wasn't lying about this.
Oh my god. Like I got thrown off because the screen share suddenly popped up and made everything move and I got
Inverse
confused.
Genius.
Please go to our Facebook page and click like on the Room Escape
Ooh,
Divas Facebook
I
page.
should share our Facebook page. I know this is a
No.
podcast and nobody's
Not
seeing
everybody's
this. Sorry, go ahead, man. Friends.
We also have community meetups every Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can find the details of that on our Facebook page. And if you are using Twitter, you can use the hashtag REDivas. Oh yeah, an email. Did I forget email? I did this time.
I have
So
no
you can
idea.
email us at roomescapedivas@gmail.com. We do love getting the emails.
I admit I don't listen during this time.
Obviously.
No shit. Okay.
Like, can I press skip? I'm a horrible person.
This is the important part, Errol.
Yeah.
It is.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
I saw that you love Totoro. I remember loving Totoro when I was little, but I haven't really kept up.
I remember as a kid I liked it, Errol. Oh my goodness.
I bet I still love it. I'm sure I still love it. I'm sure.